What's going on, everybody? Evan here with Evan's Detailing and Polishing. Got a fuel tank sitting right here. We did have to sand from here down because it was road rash pretty bad. But everybody's been asking for some more in-depth videos. We got a lot of old videos that are short, quick, and sweet. If you're looking for those, this isn't the video. This one's going to be a lot more in-depth. This video is going to be how to polish a fuel tank on a truck. And these tanks are pretty rough. The other side I even wasn't able to color. This truck runs every day and it runs hard every day. I cut that side twice. I did it with an orange and brown and then a green and brown, and then came back and colored it after. We're going to do the same thing with this side. Instead of sanding the whole tank down, going all the way down to 80 grit and spending, you know, a couple $100s on this fuel tank, they're not looking for a show truck polish. They're just looking for this thing to get shiny and get back on the road. So it's more about the technique and the process that we do on the tank than the actual clarity that comes out of this thing. It will be shiny, it will look good, but I just want to show you guys how to break into this and the proper ways to run your grinder. So to start off real quick, we have my GA7021 6000 RPM grinder. I got my full face respirator. Yes, I wear a full face respirator every time I polish. I don't polish without it ever, except for in these videos, of course. But today I will be wearing it, so I'll have to take it off and put it back on. I do see a lot of polishers taking their buffer and buffing this way down and then buffing this way up. I'm going to show you a different way to do that so you don't have to cut down and then back up. Always remember, your buff spins counterclockwise when it's laying on the ground like this. It spins counterclockwise. So since it's spinning counterclockwise, I always want that buff pulling away from me, except for when I'm doing the bottom. The bottom, I'm just going to shove it in there and just kind of work my way up so that it's working towards me. But if it does kick back, it will kick back and hit you in the face. So be very careful with that. 3,000 RPM grinders are usually going to get you into a lot less trouble. 6,000, you can get in trouble pretty quick. First thing first, I always want to check and make sure that there's no loose wires. As you can see, this wire is hanging down right here. If you watch my tank polishing safety video, you'll see that we actually zip tie these up. So I'm going to take 1 second here. I'm going to zip tie these up, make sure all the wires are up and out of the way, and then we're going to get started on this thing. Stay tuned. Alright, so I'm going to try to keep myself out of the way here. Hopefully you guys can still see the grinder action. I might actually slide you over a little closer so that it's looking straight on. I'm going to try to keep my leg out of the way. It's going to be kind of tough to keep the camera angle just right. But just kind of watch the angle. I'm going to start with the buffer straight down and work my way up until I can get to where I'm at. And then I flip the buffer and start working my way back up. Here we go. So all right, I think you were able to see that pretty good. I'll find out when we go to edit this. I'll bring you back over to the other side so you can watch me when I do this side. I know my leg is going to get in the way a little bit, but if you watch the previous video on posture and proper technique, you'll know that you can only really polish about the width of your shoulders, maybe a little wider if you're stronger. But doing a tank, this middle section here, this bigger section, the reason I use a chair is because I roll and move while I'm doing it. So pay attention. I'll try to keep my buffer here. You'll watch me swiveling on the chair. You'll see me rolling on the chair. We do a lot of that. So I'm gonna bring you into a little closer angle so it's a little more straight on so you can watch the actual grinder movement itself. And I will outline along my straps. So follow along here. So simple as that. You can see we're starting to get some reflection here. It's a little hashy yet. Cut stage is always a little hashy. That's why we do color stages after. But as you saw, I didn't flip the buffer over and cut down. Now my main reason for not doing that is I feel like it stretches the pores the opposite direction. When I walk around truck shows and truck stops, I can usually tell the guys that cut down and then finish cutting up, because from here down the coloration looks different than from here up. Polishing is all about reflection of light, and the way the light reflects, the way it hits you in the eyes, is the way your color comes out. So if you cut down, you've now stretched your pores this way, and then when you go to cut back up, you've stretched the pores the opposite way. Now light's going to reflect differently out of those pores, bottom and top. I usually almost always see that transition line from where people cut in two different directions. I like to keep it all the same direction. So as long as you put the buffer under and hold control on it, you can flip it up and finish up the right way. I shouldn't say right way. That's probably not the right thing to say, because there is no wrong way to do it. If you're making shit shiny, that's it. You're good, it's shiny. But whatever way works for you is good. But like I said, I don't cut down and then cut back up just because I see the difference in the way it reflects light. Some people don't see that stuff. I, on the other hand, do. And now you'll see when I bring you in close here, you'll see that I stop right here and there's a harsh transition line. Ty's actually working on the other tank on the other side right now, but when he comes over to this side, he's actually going to blend all this up here so you can't see my transition line, and then he's going to eliminate what I'm doing right now with this harsh transition line. He'll come in with some hand polish. I'll actually let him do that on film for you so that you can actually see him doing the hand polish, and he's just going to blend it in. He goes side to side so he doesn't come down too far into what I've polished, because of course once I'm done polishing, I don't want to touch it with anything else. I just want to cut it, color it, and leave it colored so that it looks good. But this tank here, like I said, we're going to cut it twice and then we're going to color it. So I'll bring you along to the next section, and when I get to my secondary stage of cutting, I'll just film it and let you watch it from front to back. I'll just blaze right through it real quick and you'll see how quick it is to do a secondary cut before I go to my color. So come back with me one more time. Alright, so here we go. We got one full cut on this whole entire tank. I'm going to come through, put a secondary cut on it. You can use any secondary kind of buff. I don't care if it's a yellow buff, green buff, purple buff, whatever color buff you want to use. All I'm doing is getting a little softer. So my orange buff is pretty stiff. This green buff that I'm going to use is very comparable to a yellow buff. It's actually a little softer than a yellow buff. All I'm trying to do is soften up my hash marks just a little bit so that when I go to color, it's going to be soft enough and ready to color. So, here we go. I'm going to hit it. Same brown I was using on the first step, I'm going to use it again on the second step. I'm just using a softer fabric to soften up my hash marks. So, I'm going to do this in real time. I won't stop in between to explain anything. I'm just going to bang right through it so you can actually watch it. So now for you, those of you that stuck around to the end here to see the coloring process, I'm gonna give you a little nugget. I don't color down here below where the sunshine hits. Same thing as if you saw our drive wheel video, I don't color the back wall, it's the same process. Sunlight doesn't hit down here, and this is where all your road rash is. So if you color across all that road rash, it's going to turn black. So when you notice, when I go to color this front section, I will start a little higher than I normally do, and I'll just work my way up. I'll color just one panel. Color process is exact same as the cut process. So I'll color one panel just so I can show you the difference between what it looks like when it's cut and when it's colored. And here we go. So as simple as that. The color process is really quick and easy. I'm gonna grab the camera here and bring it in close so that you can kind of see the difference between the two. So here's cut. It's nice, it's clear, got a good reflection, but it's still kind of hazy. Got a little bit of scratch marks and hash marks in it. And then this is your color. Look at the extra clarity, crystal clear. That's what you want to see. That's what you want out of a good color. Now the stainless straps, we'll come back and hit those with a separate buff and a separate compound for the stainless. I'm not just going to buff across it with the aluminum stuff, but look at the difference in clarity here versus here. This is just cut, and this is cut and colored. Super clear, kind of hazy, foggy a little bit with some scratch marks, and this is nice and clear. All right. I'm gonna finish this up, and I'll let you get one last look at it after I get finished coloring it. So give me about 5 minutes, we'll be right back. Alright, so that was pretty simple. I'm just gonna grab the camera, bring you in close so you can see what it looks like now that we've got the whole thing colored. You'll see it's crystal clear. Really nice clarity. And if you stay tuned to the next video, I'm going to have Ty show you how to blend up these top areas where you can't get at. Ty's my main man for that stuff here. He's going to show you how to do the fronts of these tanks with these big old pipes in the way, so stay tuned for that. But let's finish this video off. I'm just going to show you this till the end. Now you can see it's nice and crystal clear. Even the straps are clear. And a nice good reflection. Clarity's nice. So there you have it. That's it. For those of you that stuck around to the end, I'm going to give you one last little nugget. 7 times of cutting is equal to 1 time of sanding. So if you don't want to sand, you can cut 7 times before the time difference makes a huge difference. Sanding 1 time is going to take you longer than cutting 7 times real quick. I hope that helps. Nice little tip for those of you that stuck around till the end. I appreciate you. Subscribe, comment, like, share it to your Facebook, Instagram, whatever you can do. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks for spending the time to watch these videos, and see you on the next one. Deuces.